your finger?
It's really zoomed in.
Okay. All right, go ahead and start, Joe.
I already did.
Oh, we've already started. All right, so we are going to learn about the law of sine. Now, when we have a triangle and we're trying to find area, we don't necessarily have to have the base and the height in order to do so. Okay, the law of sines and a certain formula will help us solve the triangle. So what we have here is we know that sine of A, look here, if we draw the height of the triangle, is equal to the height h over c. All right, so sine of A equals h over c. All right, so if we were to solve for h, we'd multiply c by both sides so that h is equal to c times sine A. All right, when we have this, okay, if we were to solve for the area of a triangle, then you have the height would be equal to sine A times c, and the base we've labeled b. So the formula here would be 1/2 b times c sine of A. Now this gives us a formula that we can use in several different ways. The area could equal 1/2 bc times sine A. Now if you notice this, you've got BC, and A is the angle containing those sides, or the angle in between those two sides, or we call it the angle inscribed. We look here, AC, you've got two sides, angle B, it's the angle in between A and C, okay? In between sides A and C, and so on. You've got AB sine C. Once again, we're using the two sides and the angle in between, or the angle that makes up those two sides. So if we have two sides and an angle in between, we can use, okay, this formula for the area of a triangle, the formula that we've created here. All right, example number 1 says, find the area of a triangle with the unknown height. Find the area of triangle ABC. And we see we have here two sides and the angle in between. So we're going to use this, we're going to plug this into our calculator. Okay, the area is equal to 1/2 A, we'll make that 24, doesn't matter which one we choose. C, we'll make that 55. And then sine of the angle in between would be sine of 115. Okay, so all you have to do is, if you have two sides and the angle in between, we just plug it into this formula and solve. Let me give you, I don't think there's another example, so let me give you another example. Okay, let's say that this right here was 60 degrees, and they gave you this was 5 and this was 6. Okay, that's enough information to solve the triangle. It would be 1/2 5 times 6 times the sine of 60 degrees. Okay, we can once again just put that into our calculator to solve for the area. All right, law of sines. Now, I'm not going to go through this, but if we were to rearrange the formula and set it equal to each other, the 1/2 would cancel out, and we get this ratio. Sine of an angle, A, over its side, or the side opposite, is equal to this ratio, the sine of B over B, sine of C over C. So here we have the law of sines with this, and we can solve parts of a triangle by using the law of sines. All right, solve triangle M and P. So what we're looking for is what I call pairs. Okay, you're looking for an angle like angle M and its opposite side, where both of those are told. We look at M and M. Okay, you have 65, but we don't know this one. You have 74, but we don't know P. Now N, we have 14. We can figure out N because N is just going to be, we're going to find that by taking the sum of M and P, adding those together, which if we add those together, we get 139 degrees. If we subtract it from 180, we'd have 41 degrees left for N. All right, so we're going to use here the law of sines. So we've got sine of 65, which is M. If we put that over M, it's equal to, we're going to use the pair that we have here, the sine of 41 degrees over 14. Okay, we can use that anytime. All right, so now what we're doing, sine of 65, you can find it in your calculator. plug it in, multiply it by 14, then we'll divide by sine of 41, and that's going to give me m. Just cross multiply. Remember, these are decimals that we can find by just plugging them into the calculator to find those ratios. All right, now this, we're not going to get into detail with this. We just want to know the basics. Okay, so we have here, find the measure of angle B. All right, so once again, we can use the law of sines. We've got 57 and 63. You've got a pair. Since this is angle A, we'll call this side A. So then we take the sine of 57. Oops. Okay, the sine of 57, we can go ahead and erase that. All right, the sine of 57. Technology, I'm still working on it. All right, sine of 57 degrees divided by 63 is equal to the sine of B divided by 35. Okay, now this one's going to be a little bit different. You got to pay attention to this. The sine of 57 degrees times 35. We can put that in our calculator and then divide by 63. When we find that ratio, though, to find the measure of the angle, this is where we're going to have to do second sine and then whatever that decimal is. When we do second sine of that decimal, we put it in, we find the angle. All right, I think what we'll do is we're going to just stop there. The last few examples will show, and if you've got any questions in class, we'll answer that. All right, that's the end of lesson 71.